Thanks, Mikey. No, I just wanted to ask because you mentioned this John Euler guy. So um, he had contacted me a while back asking me to do like one of his is it a podcast he does or a YouTube thing or
Yeah.
for women in prison. But I think Taylor had done one with him about the children, and she had mentioned me, so he had got in contact. So, but I was too busy, so I actually just got back to him this week, and I said, I think we were going to look at the week beginning the 20th of November or something. So I'm just like, um, obviously, if there are pure massive red flags or whatever, but I'm kind of like the posy way where I'm just like, I'm going to take a platform, to talk about the women in prison, but I'm not going to take a platform of a fucking a KKK member or a fucking Antifa or do you know what I mean? Like, but if he is a pure asshole, then I would like to know. And I don't want everybody to fucking hate me because I go on this guy's channel and he's a pure dick, and I don't know.
So I'll tell because I've dealt with him. So I've pulled away from him personally, and I know some other women in the prison, side of things are pulling away from him because we cannot deny the statistical chances of there being some really horrible shit that comes out down the track. So that's what I'll
Right.
leave you with.
Whoa, is there anything to suggest that at the minute? Holy smokes.
Besides his career path and the fact that all he does is focus on sadistic men with the most horrific sexual fetishes on the planet.
But then would that mean like say Piers Morgan or somebody asked you or somebody on fucking USA's fucking whatever news channel, like would you not take the opportunity to go and speak about the gender ideology because you
I
didn't
would.
get the chance to like background? Do you know what I mean?
I would, but so the audience is totally different with you. Look, I think you could go either. Like it's up to you. I'm not going to judge you harshly at all if you go talk to John Euler. I've spoken to him. All of the women that are working in this area, which is like 5 of us, have spoken to him. So you're not going to be doing anything like out of the ordinary that other women have done.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just didn't want MD like to think, oh my God, she's spoken to this guy and he's an absolute whack job and I didn't know. I haven't been talking to this guy. He contacted me about the podcast thing because Taylor, I've shared his work before and shared his stuff, but I haven't made any, personal connection with him. Like, I just kind of want to do my job and like, can I get in and then get out, if you know what I mean?
I just want,
Stop lying on you.
yeah, I just wanted to ask Jess. So, is like if you leave aside the Christian conservative beliefs, is there red flags in what he actually says about his research, or like, do you know what I mean by what I'm asking, or is it just?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And so I want to be real clear that the Christian stuff doesn't bother me at all. Like that wouldn't stop me talking from him at all. It doesn't even register. It is. So look, it is purely from what I am learning and have learned about men's sexuality and the levels of their depravity in conjunction with the level of horrific information that Euler is constantly ingesting and constantly consuming. That is it. It is just what I feel is a common sense assumption to have about him, and that is also based on other women's commentary about him over the last year or so.
So, is the fact, what are you saying that like you're just more worried about the fact that because of what his job entails, that for years and years he's been consuming information from the most depraved kind of people in society, and
Yeah,
you might think that might have changed the way he thinks.
absolutely. Like
Right,
pornography
right.
exposure, you get exposed a little bit and then and then it keeps going. But it is also sorry, there was another thing and I think I'm losing it. Hold on. No, it's gone.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, Jess. I just wanted to make sure before the space finished, and in case somebody else didn't do one, I was just trying to make sure I was getting it. Like, so you're more worried. So, say for instance, that was one of our sons that did that job, and that's what they focused on, and whatever. You'd be worried about what they were taking
Oh,
in for those
Jesus.
20
I'd be
years. Is
so
that it?
worried. I'd be so
Yeah.
fucking worried. I'd be like, you know, I'd be encouraging him not to do that job if that were my son in that role. I'd be like, nah, find something else to do. Why on the fucking face of the planet would you want to routinely engage with the worst men, the most vulgar, vile male criminals on the planet?
But then,
And I'll go
but then
back
Yeah,
to
somebody,
but
his
then
work is
then
very
somebody's got,
important.
but
hang
somebody's
on.
got to do it, right? And then when he talks about these AGPs, right, he is very, very critical of them because he has got into their mind, and so it's not as if he tries. He's not a Peter Tatchell. He's not a fucking James Cantor or whatever their names are. You know, paedophile apologists and all that. He's actually trying to tell us the depths of their depravity, and he knows what they're thinking because he's worked with them a lot. So that's the more the side I seen of him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's the side I've seen of him, 100%. And that's what drew me in. And I almost immediately got that inner feeling of just slow it the fuck down, Jess, because you're dealing with a man that has a lot of potential, like there's a lot of potential for that. I don't want to say like red flags, but they are for
Well,
me
is there
personally.
any is there
For
any
me,
evidence of this? Is there any evidence of this at all, Jess? Because we could say the same about Gil Dines or Dr. Ebb, and yet
absolutely.
we wouldn't
But
say
they're
that
also
they have
women,
been
they're not men. So that's a
right.
huge
Okay,
difference right there.
okay, okay.
But then let me ask one question quickly just before Yeager's daughter goes, right? Because there are a lot of jobs, like there's an endometriosis thing come out now. We've got a tranny running the endometriosis thing, right? And so um, if you wonder who's the best person to go in and deal with AGPs, do you think it would be a woman or do you think it would be a man? A man who experiences sexuality and testosterone and feelings and, has a willy and all that, right? Who do you think's the best person to go in and psychoanalyse these fucking depraved men? Because I don't think it would be a woman, because none of us grow up like that way.
Right. So I haven't said anything about
This
me
isn't
not
aimed at
wanting
you,
him to
Jess.
do
Can
his
I
job.
just say this isn't aimed at you? I'm just
Well,
thinking out loud.
I
No,
now
no,
feel
I'm
like I'm
sorry,
being
I'm not.
interrogated by a few women because I gave a
Oh gosh,
warning on my
no!
Right.
Oh
intuition and my
God, Jess,
instinct that
no,
please don't interrupt me,
no,
that I
no.
am giving a warning, just saying, hey, I have given my feelings and my gut feeling about the potential of a man being deranged sexually because they're
Nobody's getting
exaggerating.
at you, right? So Belfast is just saying, is there any? We're asking you because you seem to be the person in here that's spoken to them the most. So if it's coming across that people are getting at you or we're getting at you, I can
That
100% tell you from me,
wasn't
it's not.
intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard from different sources that have concerns about this guy. Yeah, and not Jess.
Please don't think that I was getting at all, Jess. I'm just asking questions.
I'm not trying to warn
My
him. I'm
apologies.
just giving my experience and a gut feeling, and based on facts we know about all these other men. That's all.
I
Yep.
understand that, but if we're going to ask
I just
questions back, we're
can
not attacking. That's all I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
just
need
want to
to go and eat my
speak.
food soon. So Jogo's not here, and then stop lying.
Thanks. Yeah, Jess, I wanted to say I really appreciate your insight about this actually because I have a kind of I don't know, like there's been something, and I mean all honestly though also just for me men moids I just like the a priori position for me is usually like you're probably fucked up. Like you're probably perverted in a way that harms women and like children, like that's my base assumption. So like maybe not fair or whatever, but yeah, and I agree that men are specifically and particularly and strongly susceptible to mass psychosis, and especially that kind of like dive to the bottom, that death drive, that like towards acts of deproduction, like their sexuality can really easily be twisted into like depravity and sadism and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
totally want to say I totally hear what you're saying. Yeah, that was all I wanted to say.
And like I'm getting uncomfortable because I don't want to be slandering him. I did this is because I do respect the work he's doing, and it's awful work, but it is work that we cannot deny might have a really negative impact on the person doing it. And maybe we should actually get more nosy about what he's doing to counteract that, and not just him but anyone in this line. Like, what are you doing to make sure you're protecting your brain, your character, your decency? What are you doing to safeguard for yourself?
Yeah, no one is getting at you, Jess. Like, I actually had the same thought when I first heard of him. Like, I was going, why are you interested in this? And who are you? And, like, so that's why, like, I was asking, I just wanted clarification of whether that was what it was for you or whether you'd actually seen something, because I haven't looked into him. So, yeah, I just wanted to know, was there actual red flags or whatever? That's all.
Yeah, unfortunately, in my experience, I hardly ever have evidence that I can say, here, look, with any man that gives me that vibe. You know what I mean?